Hello and welcome back to Football Daily. Throughout history, numerous players have shined at the World Cup, prompting a big club to get out their checkbook. Here are 10 of the best. 10. Michel Platini. In truth, Michel Platini's best international tournament was undoubtedly France's victorious Euro 1984 campaign, when he scored 9 of their 14 goals. But those obscene performances shouldn't overshadow his efforts during the World Cup 2 years earlier. Despite being captain, the 27-year-old had only made 32 appearances for Les Bleus up until 1982, but he played a crucial role in their qualification, scoring a trademark free kick in their vital 2-0 win over the Netherlands. But having lost 3 of their 10 games, only finishing second above the Republic of Ireland on goal difference in qualifying, finishing second, no one was expecting much of France. Things looked bleak after a 3-1 loss to England in their opening game, but Platini managed to pull his brittle side to the semi-finals where they lost to West Germany on penalties. Playing amidst revelations about his teammate Jean-Francis Larios' affair with his wife showed immense character, and he earned himself a move to Juventus, where 7 major trophies, 1 European Cup and 3 Ballon d'Ors followed in 5 years. What a player. 9. James Rodriguez. Thanks to @JillsJames1893 and @JimJammers for suggesting this one on Twitter. James Rodriguez's move to Real Madrid in 2014 was a typical Los Blancos transfer move. Players that shine are seen as statement signings, and James certainly did, scoring the goal of the tournament, winning the Golden Boot, and only being denied the Golden Ball due to bizarre FIFA bias, sealing a 63 million move from Monaco to Madrid. His 6 goals and 5 assists meant that he was involved in all but one of Colombia's goals en route to their first ever quarter-final. And those strikes showed the full range of his abilities, from the thunderous dipping volley against Uruguay to the delightful chip against Japan. But having scored 0.3 goals per game, winning a La Liga title and 2 Champions League in the process, he was deemed surplus to requirements in July 2017 and sent on loan to Bayern. Another stellar World Cup performance this year could seal his next move. 8. Jurgen Klinsmann. Jurgen Klinsmann's World Cup record is formidable. 1 goal in 17 games across 3 tournaments, the first player to score at least 3 goals in 3 different editions at a World Cup championship in 1990. He scored 4 goals in 1990, but arguably his performances 4 years later was more impressive. In a mediocre side, he still managed to net 5 goals, the opener against Bolivia, equaliser against Spain, 2 goals against South Korea, 1 an exquisite volley after flicking the ball over his head, and a goal against Belgium in the last 16. Despite Klinsmann arguably the best striker in the world at the time, being in such brilliant form, they were knocked out by Bulgaria in the next round. Following their exit, he transferred to Spurs from Monaco and was met by initial animosity. Not only did he have a reputation for diving, but he had knocked England out of Italia 90. But 30 goals in 50 games in his 1 season in England not only saw him win Football's Writers' Player of the Year, but saw him finish second in the 1995 Ballon d'Or. 7. Gheorghe Hagi. Despite being an attacking midfielder, Hagi's 35 goals in 125 games has left him as Romania's all-time top scorer alongside Adrian Mutu, who was not only his country's greatest player, but one of Europe's best in the late 80s and early 90s. The 1990s were the tricolour's golden era, with 2 World Cup last 16 finishes and a quarter-final in 1994. Hagi pretty much single-handedly dragged the mediocre side to that stage. Colombia were hardly a World Cup giant at just their 3rd World Cup, but head coach Angel Deniscu was so concerned at their threat he fielded 6 midfielders. But Hagi laid on 2 assists before chipping Oscar Cordoba from 35 yards from a ridiculous angle. He backed that up with a 25-yarder against Switzerland before his goal vanquished Argentina, finalists 4 years earlier in the last 16. Elimination by Sweden on penalties in the quarters couldn't prevent the inevitable. Hagi was now a global star. Despite having represented Real Madrid between 1990 and 1992, Hagi joined Johan Cruyff's Barcelona. But unlike most on this list, he struggled, with the 29-year-old netting just 7 goals in 36 league games in his 2 years in Catalonia.
Guys, if you're enjoying this, why not come and check out what life is like behind the scenes at Football Daily by following our Instagram account. Disappointment guaranteed.
6. Keylor Navas. The 27-year-old Costa Rican shotstopper Keylor Navas went into the 2014 World Cup on the back of playing every La Liga game for Levante in the previous season. But this had been his only full season of top-flight European football, having previously represented Deportiva Saprissa in his native Costa Rica and Albacete in the Segunda Division. His team were unfancy to say the least. They were ranked 31st in the world, only won 5 of their 10 games in qualifying and were in the same group as Italy, England and Uruguay. But Navas only conceded 1 goal in qualifying, keeping clean sheets against both England and Italy, and earning worldwide plaudits for leading the tiny Central American nation to the quarter-finals, where they lost to the Dutch on penalties after a 0-0 draw. Conceding just 2 goals in 5 games drew the attention of Real Madrid, who he joined for €10 million after the tournament. And having played second fiddle to Iker Casillas in his first season, Navas is now a 3-time Champions League winner. What a story. 5. Dragan Stojkovic. You'd be forgiven for not recognising the name Dragan Stojkovic. The Yugoslav attacking midfielder played the majority of his football with Red Star Belgrade and finished his career with a 7-year spell in Japan. But at 25-year-old Stojkovic was the undoubted wildcard of Italian 90. Having been nullified effectively by Lothar Matthäus in his side's 4-1 defeat to the eventual champions, Stojkovic stepped up in their next game against Colombia, providing the cross for Michel Platin's winning goal. A 4-1 pacing of whipping boys, the UAE followed, pitting the Yugoslavs against the Spain side of Betrogeno and Michel. Stojkovic though was immense, completely dominating the game, scoring both goals in their 2-1 victory, putting his country through to the first quarter-finals since 1962. And although they lost on penalties to eventual finalist Argentina, with Stojkovic missing his effort, he was now hot property, and a move to Marseille followed. He joined a star-studded side containing Payne, Cantona and Deschamps, bankrolled by Bernard Tapie, and won a La Liga title and a Champions League in his 4 years on the South Coast. 4. Michel Ballack. Michel Ballack is an absolute titan of the game, with 13 trophies and 42 goals and 98 caps to his name. But despite scoring 23 goals in 50 games, Ballack finished as a runner-up in 3 major finals in 2001 to 2002, the DFB Pokal, the Champions League and the World Cup. Although Oliver Kahn was Germany's main man at the summer's tournament, conceding just 1 goal in their miraculous route to the final, Ballack added that outfield spark. Don't be misled by the fact that they scored 11 in 3 group games. This was far from a vintage Germany side. 8 of those goals came against the woeful Saudi Arabians, and 3 1-0 wins saw them reach the final, with Ballack netting 2 of their 3 knockout goals. German hopes in the final were extinguished after Ballack was booked in the semi-final, but he'd proven himself to be the best German player, and a move to Bayern Munich followed, where he won 3 doubles in 4 years. 3. Ronaldo. Everyone knows the story by now of the best player in the world, Ronaldo, coming off the back of 34 goals in 47 games for Inter Milan, failing to recover from a pre-match fit, leaving him powerless to stop France's crushing 3-0 victory in the final of the 1998 World Cup. A cruciate ligament injury in 2000 robbed El Phenomenon of his remarkable pace and power, and it meant he missed the entirety of Brazil's qualification for the 2002 tournament. But come the tournament, he hit top gear, scoring against every opponent bar England in the quarters, finishing with 8 goals, tying him with Pelé as his country's World Cup top scorer with 12. A brace in the final sealed the ultimate redemption from the devastation of '98 and the injury troubles of the intermittent 4 years. Florentino Perez made him the 3rd of his 4 early 2000 Galacticos signings, and he scored 0.6 goals per game across 4.5 seasons at Real Madrid, alongside Figo, Zidane and Beckham. 2. Gary Lineker. Modern-day football fans accustomed to seeing Gary Lineker on television may not be fully aware of just how good the striker was. The Leicester-born poacher netted at least 20 goals in 8 of the 10 seasons between 1982 and 1992, and ended up just 1 off Bobby Charlton's England record of 49, since broken by Wayne Rooney. But despite scoring 77 goals in 132 games across the previous 3 seasons, Lineker had only been capped 10 times going into the World Cup year, but he certainly came to his nation's rescue in Mexico. Having lost to Portugal and drawing 0-0 with Morocco, the pressure was on for their final group game against Poland. But Lineker rose to the occasion, netting the 2nd fastest hat-trick in World Cup history, and followed with 2 goals against Paraguay in the 2nd round. And although Maradona's hand of God and wonder goal knocked them out in the quarterfinals, his consolation goal meant he had 6 for the tournament and the Golden Boot. Terry Venables brought him to Barcelona from Everton for $2.8 million, and he didn't disappoint. He scored 0.4 goals per game across 3 seasons, netted a hat-trick against Real Madrid, won 2 trophies and became the highest scoring British player in La Liga history, a record since surpassed by Gareth Bale. 1. Mesut Ozil. Before Ozil became the scapegoat from some idiotic pundits and some silly fans at Arsenal, he was quite rightly lauded for what he is, a world-class creative talent. His 9 goals in 31 Bundesliga games had helped Werder Bremen to 3rd in the Bundesliga in the 2009-10 season. one of 5 top 3 finishes in 6 years for the German team in a golden period for the club. But going into the 2010 World Cup in South Africa, Ozil was largely unknown to the wider football world. But it wasn't long before Germany's side containing the likes of Khedira, Schweinsteiger, Müller and Ozil made their mark. He was the creative force of the side that scored 16 goals in the tournament, double that of winners Spain, providing 3 assists and 1 goal. Ozil's ability to pick the right pass at exactly the right time was crucial to their effectiveness on the counter-attack. After the tournament, United, Barcelona, Arsenal were all interested, but yet again, it was Real Madrid where he ended up, with Ozil saying, "Let's be honest, you don't refuse this club." Although his crowning glory would come 4 years later, South Africa was when Ozil truly announced himself on the world stage.
Well done, you've finished the video. For some more great content, click right here, you dirty dogs, and as ever, don't forget to like and subscribe, I mean it.